Hello, good day everyone. Now let us proceed on tackling about technical terms used in research. Since we already know what is research, the two types of research, how to choose a topic and make a title, let us now distinguish the technical terms that we have to know to create our research paper. First, we have the introduction. The introduction provides background information on the research topic, emphasizing its relevance and the need for investigation. It sets the stage for the study by explaining why the issue is important and how the research aims to contribute to the field. It presents information from global, national, and local settings or related studies that will support your introduction. So, introduction is like the background of your study. What is it, your topic all about? Why is it important? And what issue do you want to address? So, that is the introduction. This is an example of an introduction. This is about the reading comprehension, and here we have according to recent studies. So you include related studies that will support your topic, and you include what is the aim of your study, what you want, what issue do you want to address in your study. So how to write an introduction. So start broadly and then narrow down. So from general information to specific information, then start the aims and importance of the study, considering giving an overview of the paper and keep it short. Your introduction must be direct to the point. And there must be a compelling hook or intro, a powerful statement or declaration, a fact or a statistic, an intriguing question, a striking quotation, or a simile or a metaphor. There must be a hook to pose interest or uniqueness to your study. And there must be a provable and specific thesis statement. Remember that the thesis statement is a sentence that describes what you'll prove or show in your research paper. Take note of these things when writing an introduction. Next is we have the purpose of the study. It is a statement of why the study is being conducted or the goal of the study. The goal of the study might be to identify or describe a concept or to explain or predict a situation or solution to a situation that indicates the type of study to be conducted. So it identifies the variables, population, setting for study, and every study has an explicit or implicit purpose statement. The research purpose should be stated objectively or in a way that does not reflect the biases or values of the researcher. Some studies just put the paragraph of the purpose of their study on the introduction itself, but some separated it. So here is an example of a purpose of the study. Here, it states the goal and the aim of the study. Next, we have the statement of the problem or the research question. Statement of the problem presents a key issue or concern that the study aims to address. So earlier we have the purpose, the aim, goal of the study. But in this statement of the problem, it states a question that ought to be answered by the researchers, like the specific aim of the study. It refers to an answerable inquiry into a specific concern or issue. It is the initial step in the research project, which means that after you have an idea of what you want to study, the research question is the first active step in the research project. When you have the topic, you must proceed then to your statement of the problem to know what you really want to be answered by your study. So, usually we have two or three questions. Here is an example. So this study aims to address the following research question. These are specific questions that you want to address in your study. It is not a general goal that you aim to, to create an effective strategy, but these are the specific questions you want to address in your whole study, unlike the purpose of the study, which is like the general aim, general objective of your study. Okay. Next one is the significance of the study. This section explains the importance and potential impact of the research on different stakeholders, such as students, educators, policymakers, and future researchers. It highlights how the findings contribute to existing knowledge and solve real-world problems. It mainly focuses on the question, who will benefit from the study? It describes what contribution the study will make and the usefulness of the study in society. So basically, this explains um, what is or why is the study beneficial, who will benefit it. Here is an example. So this study is significant as it provides insights into effective reading interventions that can improve student comprehension. So the teachers, the student, the future researchers, and administrators can benefit in this study. So other studies put their significance of the study in a bullet form. So it can be that way or it can be in a paragraph form, as long as it answers who will benefit the study. Next is we have the scope and the limitation. The scope of a research study defines the extent of the investigation, including the subjects, variables, and time frame covered. The delimitation refers to the boundaries or limits set by the researcher, explaining what is excluded from the study to maintain focus and feasibility. So, as what I have discussed in our last topic, our research should be specific and there must be focus. So, we must put the scope and the limitation. So, this section ensures clarity by specifying what the research will and will not address. It is to whom the study will be focusing. So, here is an example of it. So, it states here what is the focus of the study and what does not what does not include in the study. So that is scope and the limitation. And last in the chapter one, um, but there is also a definition of terms, which is the very last part of the chapter one of a research, but we will discuss it in the next lessons. So as is here we have the hypothesis. So we have our statement of the problem, which are three questions. In the hypothesis, it is a statement predicting the relationship between variables in a study. So in quantitative research, it is tested through statistical analysis to determine if there is a significant relationship or effect. So if we have the statement of the problem, we know what we want to address. And through the hypothesis, we might assume or predict what we want for our results. That is the hypothesis. In qualitative, it serves as a guiding assumption rather than a testable prediction. So it helps researchers establish a clear direction for their study and formulate research questions. It's like, what do you want to get from your study? Do you want the positive um, result or the negative result? So you predict or assume what could be the result to guide you on what you want to um, address in your study. So here is an example of a hypothesis. For quantitative hypothesis, it is testable and measurable. So the hypothesis could be increased time spent on social media negatively affects. So his the researcher's prediction in this study is negative. negatively affect. So in their study, in their whole study, they would um prove if it really negatively affects, or they will debunk the hypothesis, which means that the effect of social media positively affects academic performance. So that is for quantitative hypothesis. For qualitative assumptions, it is exploratory and descriptive. So the assumption would look like this. Students may have different attitudes toward online learning depending on their level of digital literacy and access to resources. It's more descriptive. Um, it is not measurable since you have to explore it. It's just an assumption that maybe um, students may have different attitudes toward online learning. It does not predict that students um, have negative attitudes. So, unlike the quantitative. So, that's how you write your hypothesis. So, in summary, we talked about introduction, purpose of the study, significance of the study, statement of the problem, hypothesis, and the scope of the limitation. And basically, these are the main parts of the chapter 1, plus the definition of terms, which we will discuss in our next lessons. So, I hope you understand those parts and how to write it, because soon you will have to draft your own chapter 1 to start your research paper. And that's it for our lesson 2 about research. And thank you, and see you in our next lesson.